It loves it, bro. And that noise. Okay. You gotta stop. All right, this is a good drift car. It's not a bad drift car.
So a bit of a candid video, but we got it registered miraculously, but we have no fuel. So he still hasn't actually accelerated yet. But we're just pulling into the servo. So fuel's in, but we just realised we've got to film an intro. So welcome to another episode of 0 to 60, guys. And this is completely unplanned because we weren't really sure if we were going to get it registered today, but it's the first drive in the M5.
Yep, it's registered. It's been a big morning. It was an early start, but the car, she's pretty much all done. There's a couple of little finishing touches.
Now, YouTubers will normally like take their car for a drive and then make a video about the first drive, and it'd be planned. We're going to film it and see what breaks, because
I'm a bit cautious, to be honest. I've just driven back from the transport department and just been cruising. But it was heavy traffic and stuff as well. But
keep in mind, we have replaced the intake air temp and we've also done that O2 sensor. But let's do a full heat cycle and see what happens.
Whew, she's alive.
So we're out on the road. Did come up with a bulb warning before. Was it fog lamps?
It was park lights.
Park lights, okay.
Yeah.
So it could be those eBay park lights we put in the other night. Maybe a wiring, something.
Yeah.
Wires loose or something. But aside from that, it's now at full running temp, full tank of fuel.
Yeah.
AFRs are acting normal.
Everything sounds okay. She's pretty smooth.
And we haven't actually put the fuse back in for the aftermarket gauges, so we can't see. I think it's oil pressure and oil temp and boost.
Yeah.
But no drama. We've got all the standard dials.
And we've got oil temp on the M cluster, obviously, and water temp. So she's up to temp, but it'll be interesting to see because it is a pretty hot day today. In fact, it's 34 degrees ambient temperature, so we'll see how it, if we get a chance to accelerate hard, we'll see what the oil temp does.
I'm feeling good. God, it sounds good.
Oh, that was kind of just labouring it up a bit, but it pulled pretty clean.
Yeah, we should tell them it is running on the ESS tune.
It's so loud.
She's stiff.
Yeah, it's not crazy though, but we did soften the coilovers up after that first drive. To be honest, it doesn't actually feel that much different to when we were driving around without some body panels.
It's weird, it's legal now.
Yeah, it's still...
Wow. It was sort of legal before, it just had a bit of a dented boot.
Man, the engine is so responsive.
Yeah. That pulled well.
Now, this is also the first drive with, proper drive with AFRs as well.
Oh, of course, we haven't actually been able to...
We know it's rich, but never been able to see actually what it's doing, so...
Yeah, considering your very light throttle, not under load, it's still in 13 a lot, and 12s.
Yeah, it's pumping the fuel through.
Seems off throttle, it goes into 12, which is weird.
Yeah, off the throttle, and it bang.
I hope the GoPro's picking it up. Anyway. Dude, that sounds ridiculously good.
It's crisp, hey man, that's so crisp. Man, the S62 and that charger makes a hell of a noise too.
I've never heard a V8 like that.
It sounds silly. Everyone says, oh, it's like a race car with their car, but
that sounds like a race car.
It goes through the RPM so quick and there's no dirtiness. Okay.
Whoa. So, shifter may need some adjustment.
Yeah, going in the third, is it? Oh my God! The naughtiest car in the world. And I'm kind of living off coffees at the moment, but I'm shaking.
It sounds so good. And you know what? I don't want to take away from the special time, but we weren't going that fast then. And that was so exciting.
I tell you what, it starts to come alive in like third. Yeah. It starts to pull harder in third. I need to get this thing logged. Like HTE said, need to get some logs, see what those temps are doing, because these things are notorious, especially with the Charger, and in this Queensland summer weather.
What's the oil temp doing?
You know what, it actually, I glanced down for a second then. I was trying to look at the AFRs and the oil temp and obviously the road, but the oil temp actually jumped up a bit, just from a little short. It did come straight back down, and this car has got the big aftermarket oil cooler hanging out the front.
Yeah. I should say as well, it has, although we haven't taken it on a proper drive since the rod bearings have been done, because it's been at the panel shop, it's spent hours idling.
Yeah.
So the rod bearings would have bed in, although we've still got to change the fluid, which we will do after this.
Pretty soon.
Next couple of days.
Oh, I need some practice with these shifts, that's for sure. It's like notchy, it feels like they're not quite aligned. Oh, is that police?
Yes, it is. Lucky you didn't do a pull, because it was loud.
Oh my gosh.
I'll tell you what, that's quite quiet at just normal driving. Like, it's not droning.
I'm trying to drive it as quiet as possible as we pass these policeman officers.
Random breath tests.
It hits the limiter pretty quick.
You only clipped it once, for a split second.
I think I might have clipped it twice.
Oh, really?
But the engine doesn't feel like it's going, like it's starting to strain or anything. It's just, it's clean and so crisp. And you're just like, yeah, it's all good. I am, boom, 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 boom.
Can you give it a bit as we go under the bridge?
I think so.
Here, the Supercharger. I want to do a bit more research on that Supercharger because it's particularly
makes a lot of noise.
Yeah, it's like a clinging noise. That's not the right word for it, but it's a strange noise that I don't think a Supercharger should be making.
Tell you what, there's definitely a lot going on whilst driving it. Like the gearbox is, I'm gonna have to get used to that. The clutch obviously is quite heavy, and if you don't let it out correctly, it can start to chatter. For an E39, the steering's very direct.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It does feel pretty tight.
So it doesn't look like it's got any new bushes, so it must be the camber setup with the coilovers.
Yeah, and the wider wheels and tyres as well.
Geez, ambient air temps at 37.5.
It wouldn't be loving it. The noise! That was thunder. That was just pure thunder.
Oh, the shit, it sounds so good.
That was pulling pretty good in second then.
I've got to say, I'm not a fan of superchargers, but the noise you get with this thing, you wouldn't get that if it was turbo.
No. It would be a very different experience actually if it was turbo.
And it's snappy too.
Yeah, like it's still snappy like a standard S62 with headers and all the work, but then you just get that, as the RPMs increase, you get the supercharger whine and a little bit more than normal.
Well, I don't know, I reckon that's snappier than a stock one.
Well, it must be, because it's obviously you get a little bit of extra boost, yeah, but it's rapid, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, you got to be careful with your heel and toes, because the RPM, you just breathe on the throttle and the RPM just like, okay, we got road work, so I don't want to be naughty through here.
All temps good?
Yeah,
no engine warning lights?
No, nothing else has jumped up.
Hopefully the GoPro's, there it is. It wasn't, I don't know if it's been picking it up.
Oh, the shift knob has just come off the...
Jeez, okay, whoa, that's quick. That was quick. That was quick.
Yeah, the sunroof shut under brakes. It does. As the RPM just keeps coming on stronger and stronger. Like, it's quite linear, but it does ramp up. Man, I wish we had some more
logs.
Yeah, data to compare, but it's clean. It's running clean. I'll pull in here because
you're going to do grass donuts.
Oh, you reckon?
Just one.
Just one little doggy.
Okay.
Try not to run Winston over. He loves a good donut.
Well, that's two.
It loves it, bro. That noise.
Okay. You gotta stop.
All right, this is a good drift car. It's not a bad drift car.
Well, puppy's coming out. Puppy's coming out. Oh, God.
I might actually tuck it away at the back, eh?
Hide it from the neighbours. It sounds so good.
Oh, just doing that, once it breaks loose, it is so, you can feel the responsiveness. The more you punch the throttle, the more it goes sideways.
Did it? Oil temp's still good.
Yeah,
Water temp's good.
That was effortless for it, to be honest. I was breathing on the throttle for that.
I can hear the thermo fans working because it's got the aftermarket thermo fan. Dude, that was a successful first
That was
drive.
a success, and I'm starting to calm down a little bit.
He's been very nervous about this. Obviously, I don't know if you guys realise, but this is so much money to Dave and me. Like, it's been a huge investment.
And it's been so much work too. Just so many long nights.
Starting to pay off.
It's starting to pay off. I want to, obviously we'll kill it. We've got to do that first oil change after the rod bearings.
We've got to do the badges. Let's
Yeah,
do the badges.
it still looks a little bit unfinished, doesn't it?
All right. Well, she's on, and now it finishes it off.
That does finish it off a lot better. It looks, it's amazing how much just a no bonnet badge and boot badge can destroy the look of the car.
Also, how good is it when you just register a car in Queensland, you've got 24 hours before you have to put plates on. So you can actually drive around with no plates legally.
Yeah, I was still peaking though, I must admit.
That's why Dave was a bit worried about the police, because it doesn't have plates. Obviously, it's a bit of a magnet at the moment. Not that it's unroadworthy, but it's loud.
Yeah, you just don't want the hassle from the police.
It is quite low, actually.
I don't think it's too low. It is low, don't get me wrong.
It's funny, in Queensland, they won't check ride height when you get a roadworthy. They just don't check it. As long as it doesn't look ridiculous, it won't get checked. But that might be a bit low, especially where the extractors are.
Oh yeah, I forgot they do hang out down the bottom, those
And
big
if a policeman wants to check you with his pokey stick, he might just hit him. But yeah, dude, she's all mod plated.
It's registered.
It's a weapon to drive.
It's fully resprayed. The damage is gone. Okay, a couple of things still need to be done.
Yep.
Waiting for the correct mirrors to get painted. That's why it's running the stock E39 mirrors.
Yes.
Obviously needed them for the roadworthy. Roof rails also getting painted. New windscreen mould. The rear diffuser hasn't been fitted yet.
Yep.
Because the exhaust was a bit bent, so that's still got to go on.
Actually, I know there's still a few clips on the guard panels as well. The inner wheel arches that we've got to do.
Yep. Oh, and actually, speaking of the paint, this has actually, there's been a lot of guys in the comments saying how good it looks, which it does. Obviously, it looks a hell of a lot better than it used to, but this is actually straight off the gun. It's, the Mark wanted it to fully cure over a couple of weeks, and he said then bring it back and he'll wet sand it and buff it.
And that should actually make it look really good.
Also need to restore those headlights because there's a little bit of fading on the front.
We did put the China grills in last night, which I love the look of, but fitment's a bit weird on that right one, and it's because of the push bonnet release that pops out.
Oh, engine service, obviously. Actually, I'm just going to pop the bonnet just to make sure the engine's still there after a bit of a drive.
This is what I mean. She's a bit tight in there. Yep, still good. Still got the dust on it. Still needs a clean.
Yeah, so we've got to clean it, service it.
Smells good. It doesn't smell like, not being funny, there's no oil smell.
That doesn't smell too hot either.
No.
Sometimes on a really hot day, if you give a car a bit of a few pulls, it will smell very hot. So that's good.
Got to do the supercharger belt.
Yep, new one of them.
And then, well, I want to see HDE's magic, because that's pretty good. And he reckons he gets another 50 horsepower out of them.
Yeah, so look, to get his tune on, he wants us doing logs and making sure everything is working perfectly. So that is a job to do quickly, but they're still got to service it, make sure obviously the oil that comes out after those rod bearings is nice and clean. Look, everything else seems okay. I'm not getting ahead of myself, am I?
Nah, dude, that felt good. There's no knocks, no bangs.
No, gearbox is fine. Like, it's strong.
I was most concerned about temperatures because it's a hot day today, and I was worried that it might not like Queensland heat because it's always been a New South Wales car, but that was fine.
Yeah. Fuck, that's awesome. How good is that?
Let's end it off there. We got it registered. The M5's back on the road. It's looking pretty good so far, but when you got the molds done, the mirrors on and that buff, it's going to look really, really good. It hasn't even had a proper wash yet.
No, that's amazing. It's going to look, I'm so glad. It was painful at the time to spend the extra on the full respray, but I'm so glad I did it because this car is delicious.
It has become a project of passion, really, isn't it?
Which is probably how this thing has to be. Obviously, a big thanks to the guys at Sunshine Wheel Repairs because they had a very busy week today, and I'm really happy that they managed to squeeze this in this morning.
And I also want to thank all the members that actually support the channel. Guys, I know it sounds silly, but having you there in the comments and in the private groups, it really does make a difference to how much effort we put into the cars, because we're very busy with work. I mean, well, you're really busy, and I just sort of pretend I'm the boss, so I don't really do anything. But we could very easily put these things aside and spend money on other stuff.
Which is what we've done forever, but now there's, like, we get guys commenting from literally all over the world, and it is so cool to see.
It's sick sharing it with everyone.
And I'm so looking forward to, obviously Euro Day coming up at Lakeside, but we're having a bit of a Christmas bash with all the members, and like, there's even guys coming from New South Wales that we're going to get to meet, and
it's going to be good.
I'm stoked. It's
all right, let's end it off there. The E39 videos drag on heaps. I don't know why. It's because we keep talking about them.
all right, guys. Slow.
Thank you very much for watching. Always appreciate it.
We'll see you in the next one. Peace.